Good day people, this is Mina Koro back with another video, vlog episode or number 2 of my recording journey of Binge. And I'm sitting here today because I had sworn to myself that I would publish one video per week on this channel, just to keep this whole vlogging and recording and video stuff up, because that is what I want to do. I want to grow this channel and I want you to be part of it, and part of it is also saying I'm sorry. I did not get a lot recording done last week. All I did was figure out the rhythm part, or the rhythm guitar part, for episode 1, which was still missing. So the instruments for episode 1 are all recorded and I have started editing them. Why didn't I get a lot done? Well, there is this other job I have, and that's being a mom. And my daughter was sick. She had fever and her ears hurt and throat was she was coughing and everything, you know. I had to take care of her. Families first. But in my mind, I was still with the project and let the music play. And that is sometimes how I figure out what other instruments are supposed to play underlying this melody, for example. So I work in my head sometimes, and then I just do it and record it and try if it sounds good, try another sound maybe, and that's it. So the recording is done. What is still missing is the backing vocals. And yes, I know this is an instrumental album, but I decided to add, kind of la la ooh ooh singing backing vocals to the whole thing. The vocals are not going to be a main part of this because it is an instrumental album, but I want to add them just to give it a little sprinkling on the top, if you like. But there are still unanswered questions with this project, and I didn't quite, I think I hinted at it in the first episode, but I didn't quite tell you what Binge is all about. So Binge, of course, is kind of a reference to binge watching, and I am guilty of this. Maybe you are. With the advent of Netflix and Amazon Prime and everything, binge watching has become a thing, primarily of this generation, I think, or the younger even. So what we do not do anymore, and what I figured I started doing when I was sick and I really couldn't do anything else, was binge listening. We did not use the term binge listening back then, but listening to music used to be a thing. Sitting down, putting on a record and listen. And I just enjoyed music, lying down here on my tiny sofa back behind the camera there, and listening to Thundercat and everything while I was half delirious, having kind of a fever too. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Sitting back, listening to music is something we should do more often. So this is an invitation for you, and maybe a little nudge to the side, tongue-in-cheek, to binge listen to music. Sit back and just listen to music. You need leisure for that. And maybe we need leisure these days. So going with kind of the message underlying everything I do, take your time, because you need time. You're not a machine. Having said that, there are rules to recording Binge. Rules I made up for myself, because I sometimes feel overwhelmed with all the possibilities I have, with all the sounds I have, the software instruments, what I could play on guitar and everything. So I needed to limit myself in order to feel less overwhelmed and just drop into creating. So rule number 1 was no loops. I cannot import anything that has been recorded before and use it and loop it over and over. I decided not to do that because I have a huge library of drum loops and other sounds, synths and everything. I cannot use those. I have to record everything myself. Then the instrumentation. I want this to sound like it's a jam. A structured jam, of course. Everything is more or less in, kind of song form. There is kind of a verse, and then there is something like a chorus and maybe a bridge. You will hear it when you listen to it. But I want it to sound like it was played with a 5-piece band. And this band consists of drums, bass slash bass synth, guitar 1, guitar 2, keys slash synthesizer, whatever comes up, and backing vocals. Probably sung by one of the guitarists or keyboarders, or maybe even the drummer, I don't know. But that is the limitation. It has to sound like a band. Of course, I'm not a drummer, so I use software instruments, but only one. And I decided to use the Abbey Road vintage 70s drummer kit and do everything I want with it, but this is the base of my drum sound. So when it comes to the bass, most of the time I will use my bass guitar, but it can be a synth bass too. Guitars are guitars, I play the guitars. And I cannot loop any parts, I have to play from beginning to end, right, with everything. And keys can be, of course, are mostly MIDI instruments, I have them, but I will use primarily Moto electric keys, so the more vintage kind of stuff. But it can also be sort of an analog synth simulation or emulation, whatever you call it, MIDI instrument, you know. So everything that goes kind of into the more vintage style of things when it comes to the sounds. So I could layer and layer keys, you know, but I'm not going to do this. Everything you hear key-wise has to be playable for one person. So maybe it is one hand here, one hand on the other. This is an organ and maybe this is an EP or something, but it has to be playable for one person. And that is it. That is my limitation. So I want this to sound like it was recorded by 5 people playing together. That is the goal I have with it. And then musically have fun with it. Not make up sound-wise with anything that does not sound right or anything. Get the right arrangements and everything. Do it right. I want this to be a learning experience for me too. Because a lot of the great classic recordings that have been done in the past, especially the 70s, I just love, have been done with so little equipment and sound great to this day. And I want to make this a recording learning experience and also a learning experience music wise for me, just for me. And yeah, those are the 2 rules. No looping, and it has to be a 5-piece band. Oh yeah, and one more thing. Well, some of you might know that I can sing. So why the hell am I recording an instrumental album? Well, I have recorded vocals before. I have recorded singers. If you want, you can follow the link in the description below and listen to them on Spotify. And I enjoy great singers, and I enjoy writing lyrics and then singing them and putting everything into it. I am a singer. I started out being a musician, being a singer-songwriter, with guitar strumming and then singing along, you know, ever since I was 10. So why recording an instrumental album when I love vocals so much too? So I could start telling you now that although I like vocals and great singers and pop music and rock and everything that comes in between, oh, there it comes. That's a sneak peek to my answer. I could tell you that there are so many great instrumental bands like Khruangbin and Rat-a-tat and many, many others, but there is a very practical reason I do this. I started out thinking to kind of make a 30-day beat challenge only with guitar and everything, but I figured out pretty soon that recording 30 pieces of music or 1 music piece per day, recording bass and guitar and everything and not using samples or drawing melodies inside a MIDI instrument or anything is not possible. Cannot be done. Yet I wanted something I could binge record through, if you like. That is another reason why this is called binge. I want to really dig into one project and then release it. The other very practical reason behind this is, well, it just happened last week and you heard me having a frog in my throat, as we say in Germany. I never know when I am able to record vocals. I practice singing 5 times a week for at least half an hour. going up and down the scale and everything. But I never know when my vocals or my voice will sound recordable because I get sick so much. Because we have a little girl at home and she goes to kindergarten, and every sickness sooner or later ends up in kindergarten and spreads from there. We're just waiting for coronavirus to hit us. Ugh. So that is the reason. That is why I record an instrumental album. I love instrumental music, even though I also love writing lyrics and singing, but I never know when I will be able to sing. Very practical reason. That is it. So, that being said, I think this has been it for this episode. And if you want to win my recording journal, my notebook, all you have to do is subscribe, hit the notification bell, maybe leave your thoughts and everything down in the comment section below, and see me again next time when I upload something and I hopefully have to report that, yay, episode 3 finished, 5 finished and everything. No, that's wishful thinking, but stick around please. It would be great to have you on the journey with me, because doing it alone isn't just as fun. Alright, until then, have a good one. See you and tschüss.